It happened on the coldest night of winter. A man was found crawling on a snow-covered highway. Clothes torn, hands frozen. Whispering one word again and again. Buddy. 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 When rescuers pulled him in, they asked, "Who's Buddy?" The man looked up, tears frozen on his face. "He was my dog. And he gave me his life." No one believed him until they found the trail of paw prints in the snow, circling his unconscious body, and then leading off a cliff. Chapter 1: A man named Carl. Carl Thompson was a quiet man who lived alone in the woods of Montana. 55 years old. Grumpy. Wore the same flannel shirt every day. People in the town called him Hermit Carl. But the truth was, Carl wasn't a hermit. He just didn't have anyone left. His wife died 5 years ago. His son never came to visit. And the world, it had stopped caring. But Carl had one friend. A golden retriever named Buddy. Buddy was more than a dog. He was warmth in winter, laughter in silence, and love when the world felt cold. They ate together. Slept together. Hunted together. Carl used to say, "He's not my pet. He's my shadow." Chapter 2: The Storm Warning. One evening, the radio crackled with a storm alert. Blizzard expected. Temperatures dropping below -30 degrees Fahrenheit. Stay indoors. But Carl didn't listen. He had gone out to chop wood with Buddy when the storm came crashing down from the sky like a freight train. Snow turned the forest white. Winds roared like wolves. Carl tried to run back to the cabin, but the path vanished. Trees looked the same. Snow blinded him. He was lost. And Buddy? He barked and ran ahead, trying to guide him. Chapter 3: The Fall. Carl slipped on ice. He fell into a shallow ditch. His leg twisted. Pain shot up his spine. He tried to stand, but couldn't. He was stuck. Trapped in the snow. Freezing. The wind screamed. Buddy came back, whining. Licking Carl's face. Pawing at his chest. Carl looked into his dog's eyes and whispered, "Go. Save yourself." But Buddy didn't go. Instead, he curled up next to Carl, pressing his body against the man to keep him warm. Hour after hour passed. Carl drifted in and out of consciousness. He thought it was the end. Chapter 4: The Final Bark. Sometime in the night, Buddy stood up. He looked at Carl one last time, then ran. Through the snow. Through the forest. 4 miles. A dog on a mission. Buddy reached the highway by morning. He barked at every passing car. Jumped in front of a snowplow. At last, one truck stopped. A man stepped out and followed the dog. Buddy led him through the trees. Back to Carl. Carl was barely alive. When they carried Carl to the truck, he asked weakly, "Where's Buddy?" The trucker said, "He was right here." But Buddy was gone. They followed the paw prints. They stopped at the edge of a cliff. Below, rocks and snow. They never found the body. Chapter 5: 1 year later. Carl recovered. But he was never the same. He moved back into town. Started talking to people again. Smiled more. When asked why, he always said, "I lost my dog. But he gave me back my life." Carl built a small wooden statue in front of his house. It was Buddy, carved perfectly. On the plaque it read. He didn't speak. But he said everything. My best friend. My last soldier. My hero. Chapter 6: The Letter. 6 months later, Carl received a letter in the mail. It was from a woman in Wyoming. She wrote, "Dear Mr. Thompson, last winter, during the blizzard, a golden retriever showed up at our doorstep. He was frostbitten and weak, but alive. We took him in. He had no collar, but he looked like he was searching for something. He stayed with us until last week. Then, he walked to the door, barked once, and left. I found your address on a tag inside his old vest. I think he was your dog." Carl dropped the letter. Tears filled his eyes. He walked outside. And there, in the distance, on the edge of the woods, a golden shape stood still, watching, then turned and vanished into the trees. The end.